It's now time for Party Chat Sports.
The only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
Merry Christmas, everybody. Welcome into Party Chat Sports. Happy holidays. I'm Caleb Gill. We've got Drew Nelson with us here today, as this is going to drop on Christmas Eve, and that means we are going to do a Christmas-themed episode. We're not going to do our normal weekly pod. We are doing Santa's going to be flying around tonight as this is getting dropped, giving gifts to everybody that's deserving of it. So we are going to essentially put a wish list together. What should be on that Santa's list for every NFL team this year? They get one gift. So we've got one thing from each of us, or at least us two, and then Dylan gave us a couple things for the Steelers. Clearly, Dylan and Cam not here tonight. Kind of fraudulent, but
lame.
A little bit. Is what it is. They're actually doing things.
Yeah.
Supposedly. This could have been. That's what they're saying. Like, can we really trust them? I don't know.
Dylan sent some TikToks not too long ago, so.
I did find it funny. He sent a TikTok and that, like, waiting for him to respond for like 15 minutes or so. That might be an exaggeration. Sends a TikTok, and then like 2 minutes after that, he finally responds. So I did think that was kind of sus, but we are going to dive right into this. Let's start in the NFC East with the NFC East teams. Let's start with the Cowboys, actually. So, Drew, what are you gifting the Cowboys this year?
Honestly, it's kind of a weird spot, because there's not one thing they need. There's a few things.
And that's the thing. That's the issue with some of this is like trying to find just the one thing or a way to like combine it is kind of what I did.
My gift to the Cowboys is a salary cap literacy class for Jerry and Steven that they can go to.
Salary cap
to have someone teach them that there are things you can do to manipulate the cap and the space that you have to work with. Paying Dak, CD, and Micah coming up will not cripple your team as much as they're trying to sell it off as. There are things you can do. And obviously these things, like, they catch up eventually, okay? So, like, if we push Dak, we push CD into the future, do it with Micah when it's time for him. Like, eventually the bill comes due, but you're trying to win now. We're not trying to win with this roster, maybe 5 and 27 years from now. Yeah.
You don't care about 2028.
The next 5 years or 4 years now. Basically, as long as we have Dak, that's kind of the win. And then after that, we're going to have to figure out where we go from there. But so
that's down the line.
I think it's just figure out the cap. Lots of teams do it. Another team in your own division, the Eagles, are doing everything that you say is impossible. They're paying a bunch of players a ton of money. They're adding in free agency. They're making these moves to try to win. They are. I'll give the Eagles that. They're actively trying to do the right things to win. And in the same division as the Cowboys, who think that paying your players makes it impossible to do anything else. So
I think I even saw a report that they're probably not going to be able to spend a lot of cash or spend a lot of money this upcoming off season too.
Yeah, that's what Steven's saying, because he doesn't know how anything works.
What I would gift to you Cowboys fans is just Jerry Jones selling the team. Like, that's my gift. It's a bill of sale. Jerry Jones sells the team off to some maybe Mark Cuban, I don't know, somebody that's already there in Dallas or just somebody else, but somebody coming in and buying it from the Jones family. That would be my gift to the Cowboys fans. Because, I mean,
Would be
that's one
nice.
thing that, I mean, how many times have you said Jerry Jones is at fault?
Yeah, I've said many times, 30 years. Next season will be the 30th anniversary of our 1995 Super Bowl. So there's one common denominator that's been part of the team for those 30 years, and it's
Yeah.
not an active player. I'll tell you that. Hint.
No.
Spoiler alert. Not an
The-
active player.
So, staying in the NFC East, the only team besides the Cowboys to not win a Super Bowl in the last 30 years is the Commanders. The Commanders, I would gift them the rights to the Redskins logo. I would give them the Redskins mascot logo. That would be my gift to them. Have that back on the helmet because there's just something iconic and just something that's nice about the Washington Redskins. Like, it just seems there's people that still refer to them as the Redskins. And I think we're getting to that point to where that's going to happen sooner rather than later, where they do adopt that again. There's been talks, allegedly, conversations with local Native American tribes in the area about getting that. So that would be my gift, is rebranding the Washington Commanders back to the Washington Redskins.
Honestly, I don't think they'll ever go back to the Redskins specifically.
Maybe.
I think maybe it's another Native American name, but I don't know if they'll go back to
I
Redskins.
think they might get the logo back. I think at the very
their
least it'd be
owner
that
said
logo.
that they were not going to go back to the Redskins.
Maybe. At least the logo. I think that's one thing, because from some of the reporting, they were actually disappointed, the local tribes, when they got rid of the logo because of who it represented and what it represented. So at the very least, that logo back, but I would gift them that entire rebrand back to the old.
I'll give them a very expensive gift, and I'll give them a new stadium because they need
That's
it.
good. That's a nice one, too.
It's like one of the worst, if not the worst, stadiums in the league.
I don't think it's quite falling apart as much anymore.
I mean, people always, you had fans falling out of the stands onto Jalen Hurts a couple years ago, or maybe that was last year.
I think it was
There's
like 2
always
years ago.
reports of like sewage just leaking out into the fan areas. And,
yeah, because the pipes are right above.
Yeah. And I've seen pictures and videos of like just like huge dumpsters just kind of like positioned up in the rafters to catch all the leaking water.
That's so
like
gross.
It's just it's a mess. It's gross.
It's embarrassing. It's a National Football League stadium.
Actually, what I saw, I don't know where this stands now, but what I saw was some sort of bill from Congress or something to get the Commanders to move back to DC.
I think I did see that. I think
and in exchange, because they're in Virginia or Maryland?
Landover, Maryland.
Maryland. In exchange, Maryland would get a squadron of F-16s. Is the trade-off. So
we're going to give you millions of dollars worth of planes.
Yes, because apparently Maryland doesn't have their own Air National Guard or whatever, like almost every other state has.
Let's see that.
I don't know if that'll go anywhere, but I saw that somewhere.
The U.S. Senate passed a resolution to transfer the land, including RFK Stadium, from federal government to District of Columbia. I'm just reading as I path. Congress ended early Saturday with post-midnight. That was... Yeah, I really don't know. Think D.C. mayor moving forward with plans to bring Commanders back. I always forget that D.C. has a mayor. D.C. moves full steam
DC's
ahead.
weird.
It is very weird.
A weird thing to me about DC is their license plates say no taxation without representation because they are taxed without representation. And it just, I don't know. It's almost like rebellion as an official on the official license plate.
I could go on a whole spiel about that. The whole, founded because we declared war over a 2% tax on tea. That is hilarious. So it does look like there is definitely a chance for DC. Was it in DC before?
I think it was. I forget what the old stadium was called, but I'm pretty sure it was.
Is that what that RFK Stadium? RFK Stadium,
Yeah,
Washington, D.C. Permanently closed. Yeah.
So that's probably their best shot if DC wants to bring him back.
Yeah. I mean, with how much, or I think the citizens of Washington, D.C. that live there pay a lot in taxes. So with the amount of tax money that's in Washington, D.C., I don't know where, because they're not a state, so they're not getting state fund. They're just...
Well, that's the thing is the people pay taxes, but they don't have representatives. Like, they don't have senators and
they have
things like that.
They have one senator, I think.
The
where they only
representation
come
is
in
not
for
the
a
same
time.
as
Yeah,
if they were a
definitely not.
state. So
No.
I don't know how that works, but
I like that.
They'd
I can
probably
see
just-
that happening.
they'd make them pay taxes and still not have any representation, I guess.
Well, right up the road, kind of up the road, is the New York Giants. I kind of did a combo here. I called it the Caniac combo. Okay? Because the Caniac combo, you get everything. Right? That's where you're getting your most chicken tenders. Like, you're getting everything in that Caniac combo. I'm saying as the Caniac combo here is getting a whole new ownership, general manager, head coach, and quarterback, because they need everything down to the studs. So just giving them a whole new, here you go, combo deal. That's how I got around just like choosing one thing for a couple of these, is combining it into something like that. But I would give the New York Giants a Caleb Gill style Caniac combo, where, I mean, the owner has won a couple Super Bowls since being there, but it's not been good. I mean, right in that Hard Knock series, you see his interference and like him being involved in certain ways. The general manager, I think they just need a clean house, and I believe, I mean, at least they'll have a new head coach and quarterback more than likely. Bigger question marks on the general manager. But if I'm gifting the Giants something, I would just everybody new stuff. New York Giants are getting a Caniac combo for Christmas.
Yeah, I mean that's probably what they need. I guess I'll just take it a little bit more simpler than that and just gift them the number 1 overall pick. And they'll probably use it on Shedeur Sanders. I don't know if that's the right thing to do or not, but
will
they don't have
Dion
any other
allow
options. I think he's bluffing.
Is he going to pull an Eli? Is he? Because Dion, I mean, he wasn't, when he was going through his draft process, he wasn't taking calls or meetings with anybody that had like pick lower than 6, 7, whatever it was that year.
Yeah, I don't know.
If there's anybody,
he can complain about the temperature and whatever all he wants, but it's the biggest media city in the country, so
yeah,
he'll be all about that.
Yeah. If there's anybody though that's going to be able to talk somebody into pulling that Eli Manning move, it would be Dion for Shedeur, I'd imagine. But then,
probably.
If it's not Shedeur,
no one's done it in a long time, and I mean, everyone thought Caleb Williams was going to pull something similar last year.
A lot of people thought Joe Burrow was going to do it.
So
we'll see. I don't hate that. But if it's not Shedeur, is it Cam Ward?
If it's not Shedeur, it's
Travis Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, they need so much.
They need a lot of help.
They really need a quarterback.
Oh, absolutely.
They really need a quarterback.
And
so even if Shedeur isn't like great, he's probably going to be better than Tommy DeVito and Tim Boyle or whoever the heck they have on there.
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock. So
Okay.
have the number 1 pick and figure out what you're going to do with it.
Yeah.
Probably still suck, but that's not my problem.
Probably, but because, ownership, general manager, head coach, usually somebody texted, I got a text earlier in a group chat from a couple people from college that I went to school with. What'd he say? It was something along the lines of, isn't it funny that it's always the same? Here's his quote, or his text. Isn't it just amazing that year after year, the same organizations just continue to fail? Bears failed again. Jets failed again. Browns, Raiders, Jags, Cardinals, Giants. Year after year after year of failures. It amazes me how many times a team can fail over the span of 2 decades. Now, granted, the Giants did have some success there with Eli, but lately, I think them and the Jets have very similar records over the last couple of years.
Probably have the same record since the boat picture.
That was really their downfall. Giants. That was their downfall, was that damn boat picture.
Was.
Sucks to suck. I'm sure you're hoping the Eagles have some sort of boat picture like that come out soon.
Eagles are getting Cole.
They're getting Cole?
That's their gift.
That's fair. I'm going to have a biased take, believe it or not. I'm just going to give Defensive Rookie of the Year to Quinyon Mitchell. I believe he still might be the betting odds favorite for the award. I'm just going to give to him,
He's the favorite over Verse?
Last I checked, he was. Let me double check. That was also last week. Him and Verse are close. So let me double check this real quick. On FanDuel.
I'm seeing Verse.
Is it Verse now? There was a week where Quinyon was the favorite. But he's been quiet. He was quiet this week. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Yeah.
The odds aren't loading for me, but I can see that Verse is listed higher.
Jared Verse minus 500 on FanDuel, and then Quinyon Mitchell plus 400.
Plus 500 is pretty good.
Yeah. I'd say. Just give Quinyon the Defensive Rookie of the Year. I just want to see a guy from Toledo win a big award like that. I just think that'd be cool for the program I paid a decent amount of money to. All right.
Would be cool.
We're going to stay in the East. Whoops, sorry.
I was just trying to think if I could actually give them a gift.
I'll tell you right now, the Patriots are getting Cole.
The gift that they actually need from Santa Claus, because Santa Claus is nice. I give them Cole, but Santa Claus is nice.
I'm Santa Claus here tonight, bitch. Patriots are getting Cole.
What they actually need is the Lions to stay unhealthy.
Yep.
So, because I think, sorry, Cam, you're not here to defend this, but I'm not worried about the Vikings. I'm really not. If I'm the Eagles, the only team I'm worried about is the Lions.
Yeah.
Because even now with a depleted roster, their defense is pretty bad, but the Lions can still put 50 on you if they need to. So the Eagles
Jameson Williams just burn and pass everybody.
They need the Lions to stay unhealthy and maybe even get more unhealthy if they're going to come out of the NFC.
Yeah, and the Lions already lead the NFL in players on IR.
Yeah.
For the Eagles, they would just have to hope, which is a bad thing to say. You'd never want to hope for injuries, but if you're the Eagles,
you don't necessarily hope for injuries, but you're also not going to be
no.
You're not going to, I don't know.
I get it.
Not play the game or not take the advantage if it's given to you.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
that's how the Eagles.
You don't want Eagles fans watching the game saying, "Yeah, take out his knees" or something like that.
Well, that's how the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts, was because the 49ers were down. It was Brock Purdy got hurt, and then I think his backup got hurt, so it was Josh Johnson in there for a minute.
I remember who. Yeah, and then he got hurt, and it was Christian McCaffrey.
Was it Josh Dobbs? That was weird.
It wasn't. I think you were right. It was Josh Johnson.
I know Josh Johnson was in there. I don't know if he was Purdy's backup or if he was that third.
I think he was third string.
I think that's why they made the third string rule. Because Josh Johnson,
I think the original backup was hurt already though, coming into the game.
Maybe.
And then
I know Josh Johnson went in there. Josh Johnson got hurt, and then Purdy had to go back in, but he couldn't throw.
Yeah.
Like, all he could do was take handoffs.
Yeah, McCaffrey was playing quarterback a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He was like the emergency quarterback because they didn't have the 3 emergency quarterback rosters.
That's why that rule was made. But yeah, I mean, that's how the Eagles got there, was by taking advantage of a team with injuries. The Eagles are going to make them back. They're going to have to do a pretty similar thing. With Kenny Pickett, who knows? Could you imagine? The chat might be toxic. If the Eagles make it to the Super Bowl with Kenny Pickett.
They have a real quarterback on the team now.
Is he? You sure
he
about
is
that?
A quarterback. He's not a good quarterback, but he is definitely a quarterback.
Okay. Fair enough. We're going back to we're going to the AFC East. I already said I'm giving the Patriots Cole. They've gotten enough. You know, they're that super spoiled rich kid that you grew up watching, being jealous of down the road or down the street. It's like, damn, they get everything every year. Well, fuck you. You're getting Cole for Christmas, Patriots.
Fair enough. The from a non-Patriots hater, although I do hate the Patriots, the Tom Brady Patriots, I don't hate the Patriots now. What they really need is receivers.
They need a lot of on offense.
I will give them T. Higgins in the offseason.
That's good.
Because they need it, and they should have money. I don't know what their cap space is.
I think they do.
It should be pretty generous considering they don't have anyone else on the roster.
I think they will have like the most amount of cap space, if not like second or third most.
Yeah, so I will give them either T. Higgins or they need their draft picks to hit, because they didn't hit the last year other than Drake May. Drake May looks pretty good, but Jalen Polk looks bad. So
yeah,
they need to get Drake May. Well, they need to get Drake May some weapons. They also need him to get him an offensive line.
And
they
an
have
offensive
like the worst line in the league. And an offensive coordinator.
They need everything on offense that's not Drake May.
And Hunter Henry.
Yeah. The only thing that's going to prevent the Patriots from getting T. Higgins, they're not going to get outbid from anybody or by anybody from what I've seen, just because they have that large amount of cap. It's going to come down to like if T. Higgins just simply doesn't want to play for the Patriots, or if he wants to go somewhere that's like ready to win, like a Chargers or something like that. Like that's the only thing that's going to stop T. Higgins from being a Patriot. And for me, that's terrifying. I hate that idea. I hate it, but it's a proper thing. It's the right gift to give them if you are being generous. I'm going to continue not being generous. Actually, I'll be generous. For the Miami Dolphins, I'm just going to give them the ability to never have to play in weather that's below 70 degrees. Everything for you is going to be 70 degrees, sunshine, and that's all you're going to get is that ability to never have to play in any sort of weather that's going to have to make you put, like, if you normally are a short sleeve guy, you can continue wearing your short sleeves. You're not going to have to put on a long sleeve or anything.
It's a good one. I mean, if I could, I'd give them a schedule that doesn't contain any winning record teams.
That's a good one, too.
That's a little bit too hard, though, so the weather one's good. I'll give them I don't know what I'll give them. I was going to say Tua with no more concussions. But even then,
you got to give him the mega helmet, like a mega helmet, just something that's
huge helmet with a huge guardian cap.
He won't wear the guardian cap, which is weird.
Even
you would
then,
think he would.
Tua's not that good, so
no.
Healthy Tua is not really a gift.
No, but the Dolphins without Tua were terrible, which just goes to show like how bad everything else was.
I don't know what I'd give them. I like your idea.
I think the losing schedule is a good idea.
Yeah. It's a good idea until they get to the playoffs and get first rounded.
Hey, man.
But
They haven't
at
won a
least they
playoff
made it.
game. They haven't won a playoff game since 2000. They just want to get there. I just want to get there, but we've at least won a playoff game since. Is that what it is?
At least you have that.
At least we have that. We have 2 AFC championship appearances in that time frame. 2? Maybe even 3 since they've... No, 2. 2. The Bills, I'm just giving Josh Allen the MVP award. I'm not going to give him much more than that. I think he's deserving of the award, even though this past week, everybody that was saying Josh Allen for MVP is now saying Lamar for MVP. Like, it flipped because of 1 week. Stop it. Okay, Josh Allen's the league MVP. He's been playing this way all year, carrying this team on his back. Those same analysts that are saying Lamar Jackson is the MVP were saying that, and probably still continue to say, that Josh Allen needs weapons. And he is leading this Bills team to probably not the number 1 seed, but it's still going to come down to him and the Chiefs for the AFC Championship. Like, I don't know who else competes with them in the playoffs. And the AFC side, maybe the Ravens get frisky, but I don't know. Josh Allen's your MVP. I'm just going to gift him the MVP trophy now.
It's a good one. He should be MVP. It's ridiculous that people think Lamar should be. I mean, it's
Lamar Jackson, 3-time MVP with 1 or 2 playoff wins. That's a hell of a resume.
Josh Allen just he's playing different this year, and not every game has been like the most amazing game you've ever seen. Like this one against the Patriots wasn't that good. There was one early on in the season where he didn't have very many stats. I don't even know if he had 200 yards passing. I mean,
he struggled against the Jets, but like, if you're expecting superhuman performances every week, that's unrealistic.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
And mostly everyone, at least us, thought the Bills were going to have a bad year.
This was supposed to be their down year.
They got worse on offense. I mean, they added Amari Cooper, right, who was a good add, but he hasn't been, like, really that noticeable.
No,
in my opinion. I mean, he's
just another guy.
He's doing stuff. He hates playing outside and in the cold, so don't imagine he'll be doing any better.
Went from Cleveland to Buffalo, that is crazy work.
But yeah, Josh Allen is definitely the MVP. But I will gift the Bills and Bills Mafia a dome on their new stadium.
They
will thank me.
I think they are, like, their new stadium.
No dome.
No? Oh, it's the Browns that are getting it.
Browns are building a dome. Bills are not. But I'm going to put one on there, and they will thank me later. They're gonna bitch and moan about it all the entire time it's being built, and then they're going to show up, and they're going to walk into a nice heated environment, watch Josh Allen go off for 50 points, and their team's going to win, and they're going to be feeling good, and they're not going to have frostbite. So, you're welcome, Bills Mafia. You will come to the dome side.
Never. For the Jets, I'm gifting us Woody Johnson's name on the Diddy list. I mean, he's already selling him their baby or his baby oil. Like, he's got to be on there somewhere. And ultimately, it's like some of these bad organizations. It's the owner all at the top. Changing ownership would be good for this Jets franchise. So, just anything to get him and his family out of there. I think his name appearing on that Diddy list, even if it's just the Johnson & Johnson receipt, I don't care. Like, get his name, get him out of one Jets drive.
Yeah, the Jets are another team that need a lot of things. So
I wouldn't say a lot. They need, like, a lot of the upper echelon stuff, like the head coach, general manager, ownership, quarterback. But, like, a lot of, like, the Just the foundational
Come on,
stuff,
man.
like the
Come
offensive.
on, man. You just said a lot of stuff.
I did, but like the foundational stuff, like the offensive line and the stuff on defense, like yeah, you're right. That we need a lot. We need a lot
Still.
that's not on the field. Like not a lot of the players on the field. We need a lot of like the guys getting them ready and getting them in that position. That would be my argument.
To the Jets, what would I give you? I would give you short sleeves on your jerseys.
Garrett Wilson wore tuck sleeves this week.
Good.
I almost sent that in the chat. I couldn't believe it, but his sleeves were tucked in.
I'll give you. I'll also give you an owner's sell. Mr. Bezos wants to come and have a team in New York. So
him, Elon Musk,
the Jets.
Gary V.
I don't think I would want Elon.
Gary V.
Elon would be an owner who would want to make decisions.
That's true.
I think.
That's probably true.
Maybe not every decision, but some random decisions, and you're like, why are you doing that?
Yeah, but like ultimately, Tesla's still a good functioning car. SpaceX is cool. We could have like it'd be Tesla Stadium or SpaceX. The Jets playing at SpaceX Field.
He'd probably relocate you to Texas.
Probably.
He's relocating everything to Texas.
Well, yeah, everything's cheaper. You know what? You're right. He would not go to New York or New Jersey.
It'll be the Austin Jets or the Austin Rockets.
Why not at that point just
his spaceship called the Eagles? He'll be the Eagles too.
Yeah, or just like partner up with like what the Giants used to do back in the day when it was the baseball team and the football team were both the Giants. You just go to Houston, and you're both the Rockets.
Yep.
The possibilities are endless. Just get me new ownership. I just want to see a playoff appearance.
That would be nice.
That would be nice.
Maybe next decade.
Maybe. On to 15. All right, heading to the NFC North. I think out of my entire Christmas list I put together, my NFC North is my favorite. For the Detroit Lions, I'm just giving them all Deadpool's healing factor. Deadpool will have his lower body cut off, right, and it'll still grow. If the Lions had that sort of healing factor, Aiden Hutchinson would still be out there. Everybody would be healthy
give them Wolverine's healing factor.
I went back and forth on Deadpool's and Wolverines, but I don't know. I just am more of a Deadpool fan.
Deadpool grows cancer, though. It's like he gets cancer from his regrowth, and that's I don't know.
You just need it now. Like he they're just trying to get to a Super Bowl. Plus, I feel like Deadpool's like personality fits the Detroit Lions a little bit more. Like Wolverines is just more. Urgh. Like if the Patriots needed
That's
that.
Dan Campbell. What do you mean? Dan Campbell has some vibranium claws or whatever the heck the metal is called in Wolverine.
It's not vibranium. It's adamantium.
I think it was
adamantium.
Yeah, but I think in modern Marvel collabs bringing in the X-Men, it might be vibranium.
So what they did they just kept it the same in Deadpool Wolverine, where it's still the adamantium, because they're doing like the whole multiverse thing. So like some universes have it this way, some universes have it that way. I'm giving them Deadpool's healing factor just because I like Deadpool a little bit more. Either way, you can't go wrong with giving them healing factor. That's what they need. They lead the league in players on IR. Give them something that heals.
Yeah, I'll give them that too. I'll give them a whole shipment of Percocet, Oxy, whatever else makes you feel good and lets you play through injury.
Oh, what's the stuff that they give like the World War II like medics, what they used to give.
Morphine,
Yes.
meth.
I mean, if it helps, it helps.
The Lions are allowed to not be drug tested. They need whatever they can have to get their guys back in the field.
They're also not allowed to be looked into for gambling as well, because apparently that's. I still don't understand why any player thought or thinks it's a good idea to place bets inside your team's facility, of all places. Come on, man.
No.
For the Packers, what I'm gifting them is an extension of Toyotathon. That's just going to extend into like January, February, because Jordan Love's record during Toyotathon, it's about to be 10-3. They're playing as right now the score. Last time I checked, the Packers were killing them, but last week, in the last 2 seasons, during Toyotathon, actually not during Toyotathon, Jordan Love has 4,145 yards, 33 touchdowns, 20 interceptions, 89 overall record. During Toyotathon, Jordan Love has 2,967 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Again, this was before tonight's game against the Saints, and a 9-3 overall record. Again, that's going to go up to 10-3. So just give them that extension of Toyotathon into January, February, and Jordan Love just might be the best quarterback ever. With Toyotathon being extended.
I will gift the Packers Cole as well.
Cole?
Because they suck. Packers suck. They ruin everything. And they never give me any gifts. They always take away from me. So, pretty rude.
Yeah.
But if I was going to give them a gift, I would give them the Aaron Rodgers version of Jordan Love and less
Brett Favre
love. Because Brett Favre was cool. If you're fine with a million interceptions and them costing you some of the biggest games.
Yep.
But I'd rather have Rodgers than Favre, to be honest. Maybe not current Rodgers. Okay, we're talking about prime Rodgers here.
Well, even like end of career Favre and end of career Rodgers, I probably take. Well, no, because Favre did make it to the NFC Championship game with the Vikings. I don't know. I really don't want to get that. That's a whole wormhole. I don't want to dive into too much, but yeah, I would absolutely. If Love played more like Rodgers and less like Favre, we would see more of these Toyotathon numbers in September and October.
Yep.
Speaking of the Vikings, are you familiar with Greek mythology at all?
I am.
So Hercules, right? He had his 12 labors that he had to fulfill, and the first labor was slaying the Nemean lion, which had golden fur, helped prevent itself from attack, could not be killed with mortal weapons, claws were sharper than mortal swords, and could cut through any strong armor. So that was his first thing, was having to slay the Nemean lion. I would just give Vikings Hercules, because the biggest thing that's going to prevent the Vikings from getting where they want to go is the Lions. You need a lion slayer. That's the difference right now between the Vikings having the 1st seed and the 5th seed, being on the road for the wild card and in the playoffs, or hosting every playoff game that you play in. The Lions are the difference. You play them week 18. You got to have somebody there that will slay the Lions. If you're the Vikings, the best thing I can give you is Hercules.
It's a good one. The Hercules wears Scar in the Hercules Disney movie. If
He does. It is weird how they cross-reference their other films, and that's always one thing. Like when I see it on TikTok, it's like, wait a minute, that was there. Or they'll tease. Like one thing that Disney Pixar will do a lot is tease future films by having like a Monsters Inc. was Nemo that showed up. They tease cars at one point just by having things that were placed around. It's weird how Disney does that in general, but
yeah,
it's badass for anybody to have a Lion cape or whatever.
That was a good one. That was a good gift. And I think you're probably right. I mean, that's what they need, or they need similar to the Eagles, just the Lions to stay. The Lions are wounded. It's not a full strength lion out there prowling around. It is a beaten up, battle scarred lion, kind of.
It is Scar. It's Scar from the Lion King. He's
hanging on to his throne by a thread. So it's Mufasa on the edge of the cliff, hanging on for dear life.
Yeah, that's better.
So the Vikings need to be Scar. Kick them off.
Is that what we're gifting them? They're being.
I'm just gifting the Vikings unhealthy lions.
That is kind of that's what the two teams, the Eagles and the Vikings, definitely need the Lions injuries to catch up with them in the win-loss column.
Yep.
Especially in NFC games. For the Bears, I'm just giving them Sage and going around Soldier Field and trying to help lift any curses that are there, because there's something going on with the Bears. The fact that they've drafted all these quarterbacks and continue to say what you want about Mr. Trubisky, Justin Fields, Caleb Williams. They've all been top picks. And if you don't get ahead of this now, Caleb Williams is going to end up like those two quarterbacks. There's a reason the Bears have never had a 4,000-yard quarterback. What that reason is, I don't know. I think there's a curse there. Maybe a couple of these other teams, are cursed as well, but just give them some Sage, go around Soldier Field, and help lift up any of those bad spirits that are surrounding the place.
Put a dome on it.
Yeah, but then they're all enclosed. Like, you want them to be lifted up out of there. That's a barrier.
Caleb Williams is a warm weather guy. But I would probably give them, it's got to be ownership with them as well or something, because they keep making the wrong decisions and not learning. Like keeping Eberflus to start the season.
Yeah.
Just like they did with Fields and just like they did with Trubisky, where you get them in, you fire their coach, you fire their offensive coordinator.
Mid-season. You start a rookie quarterback with a lame duck head coach, and that messes up the progress.
Especially if the rumors about Ben Johnson wanting the Bears job were true.
You could have had him last year.
Feels like they should have known that and done some better investigative work to see if that could have been enough.
And not just Ben Johnson, but Jim Harbaugh wanted to be a Chicago Bear. He wanted to go back. Could have had him.
It's got to be an ownership decision.
Yeah, that's
because it keeps happening, and Poles is relatively new. And while I don't think he's like the best GM of all time, it's still, I don't know. They've repeated the same mistakes.
I just feel like if you're getting rid of the head coach, as long as it's not a brand new general manager, so Poles got there in 2022. So the year after Justin Fields. I just feel like a lot of times it's better to have a completely new slate, because you have two people at very important spots that are operating on different timelines. You have a general manager who is operating on a I need a win now timeline. And if you're having a new head coach like a Ben Johnson, a first-time head coach, he's operating on the I want to build this out timeline. So when you have, that's why I'm glad the Jets can both the owner and the head coach. I mean, I wish the owner, the general manager and the head coach, because now you have a it makes those jobs more attractive because it's brand new. It's new. Everybody comes in on the same timeline. The Bears just half-assed this shit. They half-assed the Matt Eberflus, trying to give him one more year with Caleb Williams when you knew you were taking Caleb Williams. They should have brought in Cliff Kingsbury to be the OC. Half-assed that when Williams and Cliff wanted to be together again. They are another one of those teams that do need that ownership change.
Yep.
All right. Staying in the North, heading to the AFC, though, the Steelers. I'm just going to read what Dylan said. Dylan needs Russ to get a calf strain because Russ is not good. This is his quote, by the way. Because Russ is not good enough to be paid $30 to $40 million as he does not elevate the team. The team elevates him, and the team will no longer be good if he gets paid. So see if Fields can do it. What are you
Fields
gifting?
going to get 20.
Probably. He'll probably get like 20, 25, I'd imagine. I don't know.
I will say the Steelers have been better since Russ took over.
They have.
Fields was not bad, but he was not.
I didn't think he was
Because he
elevating
wasn't
either.
pressing. He was not taking chances down the field,
No.
which they were still winning games, but much closer, low scoring.
I do
If
think
Justin Fields was in that Bengals game a few weeks ago where it was like 50-something to 40-something, I don't think Fields would have hung in there and been able to put up those numbers.
no.
So, I mean, I get what he's saying, but in reality, both are probably not the
No,
not
I don't
the
think
answer.
either.
As much as it would be cool for Fields to be the
Yeah.
answer. And
We
I
all
hope it
like
is,
Fields
it's probably
here.
not.
I just don't think he's it.
No, I mean, whether it's his fault or the Bears' fault or probably a mixture of both, I just think his development got set back and there's not a lot you can do about it.
Yeah, and like at Ohio State, he was able to throw the deep ball, but at the pro level, that's just not been his thing. And until I see him do it,
he's had some good deep balls, but like it's the decision making when he decides to let it go and when he doesn't, and
he's a run
sits on it too long.
He's a run first quarterback, and that's probably because of the Bears, because the offensive line was so bad with the Bears. His internal clock probably got all whacked up. So it's like, oh, that first read isn't there immediately. As soon as I look at it, I got to bail. Because if I don't, I'm going to get clobbered. So that probably plays a big role in that. What are you gifting the Steelers? We don't want to give the Steelers much around here. I feel like they've gotten enough.
I will gift the Steelers backup tight ends blocking TJ Watt. As they have been, they will continue to do so. So it's not really a new gift. It's kind of something they already have, but I'm re-upping it.
It's like when
re-upping their supply, letting them kind of recuperate and continue having a good thing going forward. So
my mom gives me, or last year she got me a home internet, so she pays for my internet, and that's like her gift. That's her Christmas gift, and then works in the birthday gift. I hope that's part of my Christmas gift this year. It's just that subscription. That's pretty much the same thing you're asking for the Steelers. It's just to re-up that subscription every year, where all TJ Watt has to do is face those tight ends and backup tight ends.
That's a good gift. Yes, exactly
I'm going to stick with the tight ends, and I'm just going to give them the extinction of 13 personnel, maybe even 12 personnel, just anything that heavily involves the tight ends on offense, because they use it way too much. I'm just going to give them the extinction of those personnel groupings so that they cannot. The most you can do is 11.
Well, right now, that's all I have, though, because I'd rather have Freiermuth and Darnell Washington out there than whoever else their third tight end is, than no George Pickens, and you got, I don't know, who are those dudes that Dylan's always complaining about? Mike Williams, but
Mike Williams is out there. Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin.
Yep.
Just run two tight ends. Just run the pony set where you have a running back on each hip of the quarterback. Like, just
could do that.
Just do that. Do like more 21, not 12 personnel. Just the extinction of any formation where you have to use that many tight ends. That's my gift to you, Steelers fans. The Browns, I'm giving you a DeLorean, so you can go back in time and prevent the Browns from trading for Deshaun Watson.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, it's funny to say, like, for the Browns, that is like the downfall of the Browns, but they haven't
It's
really been
been
up.
the
Like
like
it was a small downfall just because they were already down. But
like
like
they
they
were
were close
they
to
were
almost not
down.
being poverty.
Yeah,
And
like
they
all right,
immediately were like, nah, let's go back.
here's the poverty line. They were like right here.
Yep.
Okay, now they're here. All they had to
They
do
had a
was not
they had a
trade for
slight
Deshaun Watson and give him
upward
200
incline on
plus
the line. Yeah, 200 and was it 220
25. It was
guaranteed or something?
something ridiculous. A fully guaranteed contract for a quarterback that sat out a year before, had 25 lawsuits or alleged misconduct or whatever against him, and you traded and you gave up on a guy that you drafted with the first overall pick that led you to your first playoff win since your rebirth, and you traded him because he played poorly while you made him play hurt. Granted, he could have taken himself out, but you should have benched him. Like, clearly he was hurt. And you use that as an excuse to move on from him. Like, oh, he wasn't playing that well. He was hurt, motherfucker. Like, clearly. So I'm giving you a DeLorean, so you can go back in time and fix your mistakes.
Yeah. That's a good one. I'll go in on that with you because I can't think of anything else that would be better. That's a good one.
I like it. It's good, right?
That was good.
For the Bengals, I'm just giving them a defense. That's their biggest issue. It's been that way all year. Joe Burrow can continue putting up monster numbers, but until that defense does something, like that's been what's holding them back. There's games where aren't they like winless in games where they've scored 30 plus points or something like that this year? I know it's a very low win percentage.
I think so.
If they have a win
At
at
least
all.
they were for a minute. I think they probably still are.
Like if you are putting up 30 plus points and you still can't win, you need a new defense, man. So Cincinnati, you're getting a defense this year.
And they don't even need an elite defense. I mean, that would obviously be nice, but just
No, I'll just give you
an
like
average defense.
I'll give you a
like
Walmart defense.
I mean, their defense the last few years has been like average to good. Like that's all they need.
I'll give you a
I don't know
Walmart
what
defense.
happened.
They currently have like a Dollar Tree defense. I'll give you Walmart.
That's pretty bad. They got Kmart defense. Sears defense.
R.I.P. What you got?
I think I'll give them the same thing. I also would think about giving them a new coach. Do
I
not
consider
like Zach Taylor. I don't think any of the Bengals fans like Zach Taylor. I remember even when they made the Super Bowl, they were like, we should probably still get rid of Zach Taylor.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's just what I was saying, but I don't think he's good. I think he's being carried by Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, of course.
Yep.
Which, I mean, a lot of coaches would be carried by that. But, like, in the same breath, it's hard to make a decision on a coach when you're winning.
Yep.
So I will give them the gift of not having to make that decision because I'll make it for them.
I like it.
See you later.
Give them Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson on the freaking Bengals. That would be crazy.
That'd be wild. Wrapping up the AFC North, I'm giving the Fountain of Youth goes to Derrick Henry. I don't think the age is quite caught up to him, but he's going to need it. If they're going to go on a deep playoff run, they're going to need Derrick Henry to stay healthy. They are going to need him to be more youthful, more spry, going on those long runs where he's busting those out. I'm giving Derrick Henry the Fountain of Youth so that they can go on a run here this postseason.
I will also give the Ravens T. Higgins. Them and the Patriots are getting T. Higgins. They're getting T. Higgins or equivalent. So I don't know if there's any other free agent wide receivers they can get,
I don't
but
know
they
who
can
would
go
be.
in the draft and maybe get some. But they never have had a wide receiver one. And Zay Flowers is pretty good. I still don't think he's wide receiver one. He would be a excellent wide receiver two, but he's not like the guy.
Yeah. This really hurts, and I really hope this doesn't happen. But I think Garrett Wilson's going to ask for a trade. That would be, if he goes to Baltimore, that could be really good for the Ravens. I pray to God that doesn't happen, but it's seeming more
possible
and more likely that he's going to at least ask for a trade. If it's granted or not, who knows? But I could see that happening.
I would like to see. I don't know if it'll actually make them better or not, but I just would like to see them with a real wide receiver one.
That's been the Ravens' thing for the last couple of years. Is get on water, and they've tried. It's just
they've kind of tried. I mean,
they've drafted a couple guys in the first few rounds.
The Zay Flowers pick was good, and he's still a good wide receiver. Like, don't get me wrong, I think he's good, but he's not a wide receiver one.
No.
And like Rashad Bateman, he's never been like that's a good wide receiver three.
Yeah, it's solid.
He can't be wide receiver two.
They need another one. They definitely need a number one.
They need an alpha guy. I just think, I mean, already you see this year, just with Derrick Henry and Lamar, how much like that opens the offense up for each other. And then you add a receiving threat to that, and it gets scary. So as long as Lamar can hit his throws, which I think it depends on the day. Some days he looks pretty good as a passer, some days not.
Yeah. Speaking of number one wide receivers, going to the NFC West, I'm giving the San Francisco 49ers Spider-Man's hands for Deebo Samuel, so he stops dropping passes. He needs that extra sticky, if it's a stickum, if it's whatever it is, but give him Spidey's hands because Deebo needs to stop dropping passes. It's been a huge issue all year. That's what I'm giving him.
That's a good one. I'm giving the 49ers nothing. They can have Cole. They can kick rocks. Actually, I will give them a permanent reminder that the Cowboys have won a Super Bowl more recently than the Niners. So go ahead and hang that banner up. And that's all they get from me.
It's fair. For the Seahawks,
and they get the opportunity to pay Purdy $65 million a year.
The Seahawks, I'm giving them a football field that is only between the 20s because every time I see Geno Smith throw an interception, I swear it's in the red zone or it's like the game-sealing interception he threw it from his own 20-yard line or so. If the game is played between the 20s, Geno Smith is a pretty damn good quarterback. So I'm giving them a field that is only between the 20s. No end zone or no red zone, none of that shit. Between the 20s, that's all you get to play on.
That's a good one. Yeah, I think they need a lot of stuff too. I think I like McDonald. I think he'll be a good coach, although it's a little weird when you got defensive coaches. I'm not exactly a defensive coach kind of guy, but
no.
I don't see why it couldn't work if you have the right one.
Yeah.
As long as you get, good offense coordinators and such. But so I think their problem is they kind of messed themselves up a little bit ago when they lost Russ and they were looking like they were going to be bad and they could finally start rebuilding. And then Geno decided he wanted to be pretty good. And then, of course, they still had DK.
Yep.
And drafted JSN. So, they kind of prevented their full rebuild.
They never had a rebuild.
So, my gift to them is a rebuild. Just do it. Geno is good, but he's not it.
He's not your franchise. He's not going to be your guy for the next 10 years.
JSN looks amazing. DK is also good.
It's a good spot for a quarterback.
You need to find a way to attack it and get a quarterback and get their offensive line is not really good. It really has never really been good. I can't think of even when Seattle was good, I don't remember their offensive line.
I think they were fine
good.
early on, but Marshawn Lynch just made it look better.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he wouldn't have to beast Quake if he wasn't getting tackled and breaking tackles all the time. So, yeah, I'm just gifting them the rebuild. Yeah, you have to do it.
Well, that's why I thought they were.
Started.
I thought they were a team to look out for Michael Penix in the draft because I thought he would have been good for behind Geno, get the rebuild started. His offensive coordinator from Washington is now the offensive coordinator in Seattle, so there was that chemistry there already. Like I thought that would have made a lot of sense. And
the year before, when they were when they picked what's his face?
No,
yes, yeah. The rumor was maybe they could get Richardson, but he was taken at 4. So.
Yeah,
but the rumor was there, like, hey, they could go quarterback if one's there for them. And again, they're kind of hurting their draft position. I think they'll probably be this isn't exactly the year to do it, but they need to be in a spot to start taking quarterbacks and start trying to figure something out.
Yeah, they're 8-7 right now. Now, granted, if there's a spot to take a quarterback shouldn't be taken in the top 10 this year anyways. I think they're that bad. Maybe they do.
I think it's going to. Shedeur is going to go top 10, whether he should or not.
And then Cam Ward's probably going to go number 2 or whoever's up there. Like, it's a bad year for quarterbacks, but everybody's so desperate. The Rams should get desperate soon, but I'm just going to give them one last run with Sean McVay and Matt Stafford. Maybe it doesn't go all the way to the Super Bowl, but one last run, one last ride with those two, because I think it's been evident throughout the year Stafford doesn't have a lot of time left. So you give them that one last ride. Like whenever you have a pet, like their one last day where they're all right before they pass, they're more playful again. They're more excited. Like that's what I'm going to gift the Rams is that one last ride with these two before it eventually all falls apart.
Yep. That's a good one. Yeah, I'll just give them like good day Matthew Stafford. Because you have Stafford who has a game where he looks like he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's slinging the ball to Nakua and Cup, and he looks great. And then there's other days where
he has 75 yards in 3 quarters.
Can't complete his passes. He's throwing picks, and like he's kind of like a modern day Brett Favre.
Yeah. So
give him the good side of Brett Favre and less of the bad side and less of the inaccuracies and the incompletions. But like obviously Matthew Stafford still has the talent to make the Rams a really good team. I mean, we've seen it in games this year. We've also seen the Rams look not so good in games this year. So give them the good Matthew Stafford the rest of the way, and I wouldn't want to play him.
For the Cardinals, I'm just giving Trey McBride a map to the end zone.
Well, he knows how to get there.
He doesn't know how to catch touchdowns there.
Kyler doesn't know how to get the ball to him when he's there.
Yeah. I still find that so... He's not going to catch a single touchdown pass this year, is he? Give him that map. Give him one. Just give him a receiving touchdown this year. That's my gift. Because the Cardinals could probably use a lot more. And
yeah, my gift is I like Gannon. Again, kind of similar with the defensive coach kind of thing. Like, not my favorite, but I think Gannon's good. Their new GM seems to be decent. He's pretty new, so time will tell.
Yeah.
But my gift is some sort of out with Kyler. I mean, he's not the guy, man. I mean, he looked bad.
Yeah.
He looked real bad. Like that illegal forward pass interception, like what was that? What the game season on the line. And that's
what
the play you made. Yeah, like you're done after that. And like the thing is, like where the Cardinals stand current day with that is they can't do anything about it. Like they have him. They're paying him a bunch of money, and again, in this draft, there's not really like an answer or a solution that you're really dying to go draft this guy to replace him. So Kyler's pretty much going to be their quarterback next year. But if I could give them a gift, it's at least some sort of gift that's soothing. Like, hey, Kyler's not your guy. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Help is coming eventually. If I could give them a gift of help coming today, that would be great. I don't know where it's coming from, but Kyler's not the guy. It's time to move on. My gift is a new quarterback. I just might not be able to give that to him this year.
No.
It's an IOU.
Yeah. Speaking of quarterback, AFC West, I'm just giving the Denver Broncos, Bo Nix being your future. Like, that's your guy. He's shown some promise, but he's also a merchant of a bunch of different things, like working around him. And ultimately, as a young rookie quarterback, that's what you want them to just be able to. They don't have to be the reason you're winning games, but they're not the reason you're losing games. And there's enough around him and the Broncos right now where there's promise there. So I'm just giving the Broncos Bo Nix working out as your quarterback of the future, because you haven't had one since Peyton Manning.
Yeah. I think my gift to the Broncos and other AFC West teams and other AFC teams in general is just the downfall of the Chiefs one way or another.
Yeah.
And I'm not gifting injuries. I'm not gifting bad health like we kind of said with the Lions. Like, when I said that before, I don't want the Lions to get hurt.
Right.
But the other teams would benefit from them getting hurt. The Broncos are in the same position. If Mahomes' ankle is actually an injury and he re-injures it again, if Andy Reid decides to retire, which is probably not too far away, like, that's the kind of gift that they need. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they can rebuild and do whatever they want with their rosters, and it might not ever be good enough if Mahomes and Reid are still on the Chiefs, like we've seen before. They can be one of the best teams roster-wise, or they can look like they do now or last year, and they're still going to be the team to beat. So until that duo of Mahomes and Reid splits, and then we see what becomes of the Chiefs after that, I think there's nothing you can do.
No. Staying with the Chiefs, my gift to them would just be keeping that dark magic that they have hidden and kept safe under Arrowhead. If they want to continue winning, they've got to keep what's working. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Keep that dark magic hidden under Arrowhead so that you can continue pulling off these wins in ways that no other team possibly could.
Yeah. I'll give them a weight loss plan for Andy Reid. Listen,
my next one was going to be like a year-long supply of whatever burgers big out there. Is it Culver's? Yeah. Is it Whataburger? No. I don't know what it is out there in Kansas City.
Of that. If they want Reid to stick around for longer than a couple more years, then they need to get him on the right track. But no, I'm like I said before, Reid not retiring, I think is Mahomes is great. Don't get me wrong, but I think Reid has shown that he's one of the best coaches of all time.
Yeah.
Definitely right now. So, him sticking around is going to be huge for them continuing to be a dynasty.
Oh, absolutely. One of the teams that might be the biggest threat to them would be the Chargers. I'm just gifting Justin Herbert number 1 wide receiver. We've been trying to get him we've been trying to get Herbert help now for a while. And the Chargers seemingly do everything they can to not help him. So I'm going to gift you a wide receiver number 1. If it be a T. Higgins, if it be a Garrett Wilson, if it be, I don't know who else is coming up in this draft, maybe Emeka Egbuka, just get Herbert a number 1 wide receiver. Merry Christmas, Herbert. You're gonna love that one. That's a nice little toy for you to be able to play with.
Yeah, if only they drafted Zay Flowers, or maybe Zay Flowers was already gone, but I know Jordan Addison was not, and they took Quentin Johnson over him. So they have tried, but they have not done it right. So you go ahead and give him a number one wide receiver. I think that is what they need as well. I'll give Justin Herbert some thicker skin. He seems to be injured a lot, and sometimes it's small things. Sometimes it's serious. I mean, he did get his that was Tyrod. He's had played through broken ribs and all these other things. But a couple weeks ago, I forget what game it was when he got tackled and he got
I know which one. Yeah, I remember that.
Like he didn't even really get hit. He just kind of got I don't know. It looked pretty soft to me, and he was on the ground for a while and was injured supposedly. So I'm like, man, you got to be a little bit tougher than that.
Yeah.
So a little bit thicker skin for Justin Herbert, so he can stay on the field and stay healthy.
Yeah. For the Raiders, so I gave the Giants the Caniac box or the Caniac combo. I'm just going to give the Raiders a box combo. General manager, head coach, quarterback. The owner, I think, is fine. Is what it is with the owner. Could be better, could be worse, but I'm not going to give them the same thing I'm giving the Giants. They mostly need, I think they need new general manager. He's new, but it's the old Chargers general manager that was canned. A head coach, I don't think Antonio Pierce is the guy. Better to move off sooner rather than later, especially if you get a new quarterback. If you're getting a new quarterback, go in with a head coach that is really going to be there for the future. And I don't think Pierce is it. The Raiders could be in contention. Now they've won a game, so they move themselves out potentially of that Shedeur Sanders spot. But that's where, if I'm gifting the Raiders, I'm giving them that combo, that box combo, general manager, head coach, quarterback.
Yeah, I mean that is what they need. I don't think Pierce is the guy. Obviously, they don't have a quarterback on the team that's going to be any good. They need everything. They need everything, and it doesn't even stop there.
No.
Once you get those three done, there's plenty of holes on the roster they still need. So they need a complete
overhaul,
workup, overhaul, everything. So I'll pitch in. I'll get you. I'll go in on that with you and
on the box
bring
combo.
Some other positions. Yeah.
This was going to the NFC South. This was probably the hardest one for me to pick, just because I don't really know what the Buccaneers need. So I'm just going to gift Mike Evans his 1,000-yard season. He's close. He hopefully should get it, but only 2 games left. Just give it to him so that his streak continues. We already have Mike Tomlin's win streak, continuing. I care more about the Mike Evans 1,000-yard year or season streak. Okay, this will help solidify him being a Hall of Famer. Probably he should already be, but it will help with that conversation. Like he had 1,000 yards every year of his career. Given that 1,000-yard season, Mike Evans has earned it, deserved it. Come back from injury and just balled out. Just give. Here's 1,000 yards. Whatever more you need, you're getting it.
The Buccaneers need defense as well.
Which is weird because they have a defensive head coach.
They let Kirk Cousins throw 500 and some yards on him.
It's true.
This season. That's not good. He just got benched. Different point in the season, of course, so things change. But still, it's been their defense is not good. It hasn't been good this year. So, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know if Baker's the long-term plan,
but
quarterback. Well,
I think
if you just start with defense first, you'll probably. I mean, they're kind of a playoff team right now. If they had a good defense, they'd probably be a definite playoff team and not a fringe playoff team. So,
well, they're currently leading their division. I'm pretty sure
they do not control their own destiny.
No, which is why
Falcons do.
I'm giving the Falcons the Buccaneers losing out.
There you go.
Because if the Buccaneers
you just
lose
give
out,
them a win out,
and the Falcons just win out, well, I think they play each other.
They've already played twice. Falcons won both.
Did they? Okay.
So that's why the Falcons are they own the tiebreaker.
Gotcha. Well, I'm gifting them a win out. I'm gifting them that NFC South crown because they're right there with a rookie quarterback. As long as they don't fumble it here these next 2 games, the crown is theirs. South will go through Atlanta.
Yeah. I'll give them a good career and development from Michael Penix.
There you go.
They already have the quarterback. They already did that part. So now I will just gift
him.
him the proper career trajectory that we hope rookie quarterbacks will see. Improvement. His first start wasn't terrible. It wasn't great.
No.
But that'll
first
happen
start.
when you're a rookie starting for the first time. So just keep going and becoming a better quarterback. That's what I'll give him.
Sticking with the young quarterbacks, the Panthers, I'm just going to give Bryce Young a couple inches. That's my gift to you. You need a lot more Panthers, but if Bryce Young was a couple inches taller, I think everybody else would be better for that. So, Bryce, even though I want to see short kings like us thrive in this league, I'm going to give you a couple inches.
It's a good one. I'll give them a new owner because I think Tepper is terrible.
Oh, he's terrible.
Terrible owner, terrible person.
He's backed off a little bit this year. Like, he hasn't been as hands-on involved.
Well, he was catching some flack.
He was. Bad.
For
big time.
It was like during the off season or right before the season started. Like, he was doing some bad stuff. So he definitely like got out of the headlines for a while, and that's classic rich person PR team.
Yeah.
Like, hey, just cool down for a little while.
Woody Johnson needs his PR guy.
But I don't think Tepper changed his ways. He just managed to stay out of the headlines with what he's doing. So I'll give him new ownership. I mean, the Panthers haven't been good since that one season with Cam Newton. And even then, they didn't win it. So really,
they haven't won.
There was a few seasons there where they were pretty good.
Yeah, but that was
one season where they were great.
That was a previous owner.
But they've never been like dominant or anything. And I don't like Bryce Young has looked pretty good, but I don't love everything they've done. Like the trade that they made with the Bears was not good for the development of the team, in my opinion.
No. You mortgaged a future on a quarterback that wasn't ready.
Yeah. So I'm just going to give him no ownership, mostly because I don't like Tepper and can't hurt. I mean, can't get much worse. So
wrapping up the NFC South, the New Orleans Saints, I'm just going to give them that Ukraine-style funding like what the U.S. has been giving Ukraine because of how terrible their cap situation is. They're going to need as much help as they can possibly get from a money standpoint. So I'm giving the Saints Ukraine-style funding for Christmas.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking they can go to the salary cap class with Jerry and Steven, but they're a little bit different. They push too much money.
They know how. They know how to push it into the future, but the future's here.
They need to stop. Like when Breeze left, there was no reason to keep like trying to keep that same team together and try to win. Like they've similar to the Seahawks.
I was just about to say
it's been going on much longer.
You mentioned the Seahawks. I was just about to say the Saints are in that same boat.
Avoided that collapse and rebuild that they desperately needed since Breeze retired. And they just keep pushing it off and spending more money and pushing it off. And there's for what? Like, so Derek Carr can what? Like, what was the ceiling there? Yeah. And who do they even have after Derek Carr? They had before Derek Carr, Jameis Winston.
There was Jameis. There was
he was Breeze's backup, was he not? For the last year or two.
What was Drew Brees' last year? Drew Brees. His last year
2 or 3 years ago.
2020. So the 2021, because I know they tried getting Taysom Hill to be the starter. 2021 New Orleans Saints. They went 9-8. Final roster. Trevor Siemian, Taysom Hill, and Ian Book were the quarterbacks. Who was on IR? Jameis Winston was on IR. Ian Book.
Yeah. Yeah, they keep
disgusting.
They keep spending money and for no reason. Like they just need to rebuild, restart. They really haven't been good drafting, in my opinion.
No.
I don't like what they've been doing. Just fundamentally, I didn't like who they had at coach. He got fired though, so I can't.
He wasn't good he was the Raiders head coach for a little bit, and he was terrible.
Yeah. So they should have been able to take that Sean Payton trade and turn it into a launch point for the franchise.
Yeah.
And they have not.
Nope.
You got draft capital for a coach that was not actively coaching your team, and you managed to not do anything beneficial with it.
Dumbasses be dumbasses. Sticking with the head coach train, I'm just going to give both the Titans and Jaguars new head coaches this year. I think that Callahan has been terrible for the Titans. I almost thought about giving them like mayonnaise with like poison induced into it or something. Just something for, that just cut bait with Will Levis and that experiment. I thought about that, but
might be a little extreme.
Maybe.
The poison mayonnaise.
But the way the Titans look in these games is not good a lot of times. So I would just give both the Jaguars and the Titans new head coaches this year.
That's probably good, especially the Jags. I mean, dude,
Jags
are another one of those teams. They need a lot of stuff. Coach is one of them. Quarterback's not too far down the list.
No.
But start with coach and see if someone can get in there and because Trevor Lawrence isn't bad necessarily.
No,
he's just not great like he was expected to be.
And that's always been my argument with him is he's just never lived up to the hype. He's never lived up to that title generational that was wrongly placed on him in the first place.
Yeah, so I'm good with giving the Jags a new coach. Titans, if you want to give them a new coach, that's fine. I just think their roster is so bad. Their offense has been bad. I mean, as soon as they made a series of bad mistakes, but trading away A.J. Brown because they didn't want to pay him so they could draft Traylon Burks. And then he became one of the biggest busts that we've ever seen. I mean, he was so big of a bust that no one even talks about him being a bust because no one even remembers him.
Right. I was just about to say, I forgot about that.
First round wide receiver that was supposed to be A.J. Brown's replacement. And he was just awful. Awful. Like, he might not even be in the league right now. I wouldn't even know.
Let's look. He's still on the Titans.
He has made zero impact. They've never recovered from getting rid of A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry, even Tannehill. I mean, Tannehill had a few years where he was pretty good. He wasn't great by any means.
They made it to an AFC Championship game with Tannehill.
Yeah. And when they eventually parted ways, he was pretty bad. But still, they haven't done it. They took a chance with Will Levis. It's fine. That's not working out.
No.
But the rest of the roster, especially on the offense, their defense was pretty good for some of the season. I don't know if it's still good anymore, but there's some pieces there. But the offense just is so bad, in my opinion. I mean, Pollard has been pretty good, but that can't be your only.
No, you need a lot more than
thing. It was fine when it was Derrick Henry as your running back. That can be your and prime Derrick Henry at that. That can be your offense. But Tony Pollard is not going to carry you
He's not an offensive player of the year
you
type
need
of
a
guy.
quarterback. Yeah, you need a quarterback. You need some receivers. You need a line. You need all these other things. So I'll gift them a whole bunch of draft picks, I guess. Free agency signings, whatever they need.
Just give him a bunch of lottery tickets. That's the equivalent. Just a bunch of lottery tickets. The Colts, I'm giving a brain to Anthony Richardson. He's got the talent, but my God, does he make some of the dumbest mistakes I've seen. I almost wanted to refer to him as Tim Tebow at one point, just because the only smart thing he can do is run north and south. But at least Richardson has an arm where Tebow just didn't. Give Richardson a brain. The talent is so there. The head is not. Like, there's something wrong up here. Fix that. And the dude is going to be so good.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give him below average accuracy. And that is a massive improvement.
That is
over what
huge.
He has now. So, pretty, I'll go cheap gift for the Colts because I don't really care about the Colts.
Give
for
him
some
an
reason,
accuracy boost.
Colts have always been a team that I just don't like. And it's not because, they're rivals of the Cowboys or anything. I don't like them. There's something about them just don't like, never have.
That's fair.
So, I'll give him a cheap gift, below average accuracy for Anthony Richardson, which is, like I said before, a massive improvement over what he has now. So, see what happens then.
And then the last team, the Texans. Dylan and I both have the same thing, and it's just for C.J. Stroud to return to his rookie year form. You get that, and the Texans will push either the Bills or the Chiefs. But they're not getting that right now. They're barely winning these games. They don't look the same. If Stroud returns to form, granted, they've suffered some injuries. That Tank Dell injury was huge. Hopefully the Deontay Johnson
it's a lot worse than originally reported.
It was like an ACL, dislocated knee.
Yeah, they first said dislocated kneecap, and now it's like dislocated kneecap, ACL, some
It's
other
bad.
things in there.
So
he might not even be back next year.
But
yeah, I mean, I agree with you. But I'm going to go with C.J. Stroud, not necessarily reverting back to rookie year, but progressing from rookie year, of course.
Yeah.
Because
That's
everyone looks back at his rookie year very fondly.
That's a better way of phrasing
it. Was a good rookie year. Yeah. But there was definitely a lot of bad in the rookie year that kind of got looked over because instead of being one of the worst teams in the league like we had expected, they became a playoff team.
Right.
So all the bad performances and things like that kind of got pushed to the side. And now we're seeing that kind of stuff catch up.
Yeah, I'm going to change my answer to but progressing from his rookie year performance. I like that phrasing and that mindset a lot better. I've got two more things. I got two more gifts I'm going to pass out here. So one thing Santa used to bring my brother and I was these combo gifts where if it was both him and myself, half the gift would be wrapped in whatever was wrapped for Caleb and the other half will be wrapped in whatever was wrapped for Gavin. So I'm going to give a combo gift to the New York Jets and Giants. Okay, I'm going to give you a GBU 43B or a massive ordnance air blast known as the mother of all bombs, so you can deploy it right at center at the 50-yard line of MetLife, and then just blow up the stadium. Because you need an entire new stadium. That AC unit-looking piece of shit needs to go. The field is terrible. Olu Fashanu suffered a foot injury this week on that damn field. Blow up the damn stadium. I'm giving you the mother of all bombs so that we can set it ablaze. Okay? And then somebody reached out to me and requested that I touch on this topic, so I'm going to touch on this topic by just gifting Travis Hunter an out of his relationship.
Yeah.
Some form of out. Do the complete opposite of putting a ring on that finger and knocking her up. It reminds me of the Blue Mountain State. I keep seeing that meme everywhere. where the running back was in a relation. I don't remember the characters' names, but for anybody that's watched Blue Mountain State, they probably understand where I'm heading with this. The running back that was in a relationship with the girl that was doing shit with that other people. Travis Hunter, I'm going to gift you an out of your current toxic relationship with this woman. You're a Heisman.
Yeah.
Fraudulent Heisman, not my Heisman. Still, in the record books, it's going to say you're a Heisman. You don't want to have to deal with this other baggage that you got trailing behind you. I'm going to give you an out. Merry Christmas, buddy.
Yeah. I can get behind that. Feel bad for him.
Everybody's getting behind his
girlfriend.
girlfriend.
Not a good look.
Everybody's getting behind his girlfriend. So I'm going to help Travis Hunter and back him up on this.
He had to wait outside in the car.
That's so
yeah, it's pretty bad. You hate to see that, but Travis, of course, I know you're a watcher of our show, so you're definitely listening to me. But you know, you're hot shot Heisman, about to move to a new city. You've got your opportunities. It's time to go explore what's better for you. It's probably not what you already have.
Same guy. We were talking about it. It's like, could you imagine if he gets drafted and he has to go play in like Philadelphia? Like, say he's drafted by the Cowboys and he has to go play in Philly, and more stuff from this relationship comes out. Like, the amount of heat he's going to get.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go looking for that. But that's our Christmas episode. You got any final thoughts before we sign off for the holidays?
Christmas games on Netflix is trash and dumb.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it's going to be good. It's going to be a good production. We'll see. See what happens. But
I'm curious. The last time
Tyson-Paul fight was awful. And there was way less people watching. So we'll see if they can handle 10 times the viewership.
We'll see.
Whatever it is. Probably not 10, but
I'm scared. I'm scared at like the amount of lagging that's potentially going to happen. It's going to get old. Hopefully Netflix has fixed some of those issues between the Paul fight and now.
I mean, they had a good test run with the Paul fight. They performed terribly. So
it's only up from here.
They can improve massively on that with no other test runs, then maybe. But
yeah.
We'll see.
Well, hopefully everybody does have a great holiday week. Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
Hold on.
Wait. We're not signing off yet? What you got?
I forgot I had this. Cowboy Santa.
Oh, hell yeah.
Merry Christmas from Cowboy Santa.
Merry Christmas. Deuces. JTS.
Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.